One of the hardest lessons I've learned over the years is that some of the biggest lies I've ever believed in didn't actually come from other people. They came from my own mind. There have been times in my life when I was convinced that someone had wronged me. I was convinced that someone was against me. I was convinced that I knew exactly what was happening. And the more I thought about it, the more real it felt. But the problem is, feeling something doesn't automatically make it true. Unfortunately, I learned that lesson the hard way. Because years ago, I had a falling out with a family member. And at that time, I was completely convinced they were taking advantage of us. Every conversation seemed to confirm it. Every interaction reinforced it. The story in my head became stronger and stronger. And it eventually led to an argument, and then years of distance between us. The strange thing is that when I finally thought everything through, I realized how much of that story had actually been built inside my own head. Not because I was a bad person, not because they were a bad person, but because I had taken assumptions and slowly turned them into facts. And once we believe something is true, our mind becomes very good at collecting evidence to support it. I unfortunately also did something similar with a friend. For a long time, I blamed them for problems that already existed in my life because it was easier. It gave me someone to point at, someone to hold responsible. But eventually, I had to face an uncomfortable truth. That the issues were already there. I just simply didn't want to look at them. Because blaming someone else was perhaps much easier than examining what was really happening inside. When we eventually cleared things up, something surprising happened. The resentment in me disappeared. Not because everything was suddenly fixed, but because the story I had been carrying all the while was suddenly no longer there. And that's what I've come to realize. That sometimes the things exhausting us isn't the situation itself. It's the story that we've attached ourselves to. Even recently, I've caught myself doing it again. Someone behaves differently. Someone seems distant. Someone becomes less responsive. And immediately, my mind starts filling in the blanks. Did I do something wrong? Did someone say something? Are people talking behind my back? Maybe, maybe not. The truth is, most of the time, we don't actually know. And that's where our mind gets really dangerous. Because the mind hates uncertainty. It would rather invent an explanation than to sit comfortably with not knowing. The older I've become, the more I've learned that not every thought deserves our trust. And just because a thought appears doesn't mean it's true. Just because a fear feels real doesn't mean it's happening. And just because a story makes sense doesn't mean it's reality. I've learned that peace often begins the moment we stop trying to control things that are outside of our control. I can't control what people say. I can't control what people think. I can't control what stories other people choose to believe. But I can control how I respond. I can control whether I act with integrity. I can control whether I continue treating people with kindness. And I can control whether I allow my own thoughts to drag me into a battle that may not even exist. If life has taught me anything, it's this: be careful with what you allow your mind to convince you of. Because some of the biggest lies you'll ever believe won't necessarily come from the outside world. They'll come from the stories you quietly tell yourself when nobody else is around.